Yeah, we're biting back on this old girl. Let me catch you guys up because some of this happened before the channel even started. This is either a 99 or a 2007 3 that I picked up primarily because it had a brand new rebuilt transmission. Brand new rebuilt, but anyway, it had a fresh rebuild on the transmission, which ended up in my 450, and the motor had an issue where they think they had a busted ring in one of the cylinders. So we pulled the motor and saved it for other projects. You know, might get into that at one point and see what's going on with it, see if it's salvageable. But then when we got into the video on the turd truck where we evaluated it, that engine actually ran and drove after we got it home. So because the body was beat up and the interior was shot, and this one was a much better candidate, we yanked the motor and transmission out and put it in here. So my buddy let me use his lift and everything at his shop, and so this is where things stand. The motor and transmission were stabbed in, and that's about all we got to. We did yesterday evening, I got started on here and just burning up last couple of hours of the day and didn't video, but I needed to run the hot wire, which, let's see if I can get in here. Let's see, which bolts right down there below the block. And the hot wire, there's a hot wire bracket that it travels to the starter, and a ground that bolts there, and the ground also bolts to the frame here. Of course, your hot wire runs up to the solenoid, and the ground wire is grounded to the fender here. Don't forget, if you guys are doing an engine swap, the third ground is right here on the firewall, goes straight to the engine block. You can see the silver wire right there, and the other ground from the other side, which is this battery cable here, goes to the similar post. Both of these posts are on the side of the harmonic balancer, so that's your grounds. Let's see, we still have the master 40 pin connector we got to put in. I was putting on the compressor, but the dirt daubers got into it, so I had to get a tap. I'm gonna clean those threads out. And this engine was running when I put it in. I've been kind of on other projects. Walk around here, we got to do something with these doors, and we got a smidge bit of wiring in here. We got to throw the fuse box back in. Borrowed that to test out another vehicle. Gauge cluster, get rid of some of these wires, for they had a stereo system in here. So we got a few things to do, and quite a few parts, miscellaneous parts to get done with and get this bed emptied out. So let's get into it. All right, so last night I was fiddling around with that tool truck, and all of the holes from the air compressor being off and the alternator being off were full of dirt daubers. So I used a hole gauge to tell me that's an 8mm bolt here, and just so some of you guys don't know, put a white background in the back and see if this will come out on camera. But I was trying to see if it was 8 1.0 or 8 1.5, or 1.25 rather. So you can see right here, there's no gap in the teeth, so that's a 1.25. And for anybody that's not familiar with using these, let me go to the 1.0 here, get this back in the frame. So that's the 1.0, and you can see when you put it up there, there's gaps in between. I like to put a decent background where you can kind of make it out. So we'll go back to 125. All right. And as you can see, when you put the 125 in there, it fills in all the threads. So it's an 8 125, and you can check it with the 8 125 tap, or die rather. So that's working. So we're going to get the 825 tap and chase the threads in the holes. Alright, let's see. Let me move this out the way. I was wire wheeling all of my grounds to make sure they were good. Get that out the way. I'm going to go ahead and pull. None of these 3 bolt or 4 bolts for the compressor wanted to get in the holes, and I'll clean them with a screwdriver and ended up washing them with some brake clean, but evidently there's still some stuff stuck in the threads. So let me wash the Never Seez off of these bolts, and let me get these out the way, because one drop of Never Seez and I'll be covered in it by the end of the day. I'm going to move this air compressor out of the way, put it on the side here, and take some brake clean. I tell you, last couple of days have been the nastiest trucks. Well, it seems like the dogs are being antagonized by the cats this morning. All right, let's get this ready to tap. It's a good procedure or a good idea to come in and chase threads on stuff, especially these long air compressor bolts, because they're going to be prone to wanting to break on you anyway because of the length. So chasing the threads is always a good idea. Get everything torqued down right. So we're just going to run this tap down on each one, and I'm probably going to have to change my tap device here to get something. Let me get the different piece. All right, let's see. We put this one on there. A little narrower driver for the tap. This is, I'm sure, fascinating to everybody, so let's put this on time lapse. We got the alternator bracket hanging up here. These are the holes for the alternator bracket. They had dirt daubers too, so let me match up these bolts to a tap and we'll clean those holes out same way. Alright, so we got the compressor back on, got this on. Always when you guys have the belt off, check your pulleys. Like this one's quiet but a little stiff. These are spinning good. Water pump sounds good, that's new. Before I put the alternator on, right back here is where the ICP goes, and the alternator body kind of blocks you from getting a wrench on it. And I'd kind of forgotten that I had taken it off of here when I freshened the motor up. So when you haven't been on something for a while, you may want to take your time and consider what you got next to put on, and that way you don't put something in the way and have to take it off. So I'm gonna get an ICP and pop it on there, and then we can put the alternator on and keep going. All right, let me catch you guys up. I worked late last night and the lighting was horrible because it was dark. I got our computer plugged in back underneath the fuse box. The 10 mil snug down. I got the transmission fluid back in. I got most of the oil back in. Put the alternator back on. I'm not going to have the belt on it for first startup, but that way we don't arc anything with this wire being disconnected. Well, before I put the alternator on, I got the crank position sensor swapped out. So also hooked a jumper hose between the transmission lines so that when we crank it, it won't burp transmission fluid because it's not hooked to the radiator. I just want to run it for a few seconds to make sure that everything's good. I know I still got to take the rags out of everything, and I do have to pull this Allen and top off that reservoir, make sure that didn't leak down, and check out power steering fluid also. So that's where we are there. Underneath, I've got a few other little things to do: hook up transmission cables and hook up a drive shaft, and that should be it. All right, let's get on it. All right, so what we got, and y'all excuse the nail guns across the bayou. Got a house going up, so it's gonna be a little noisy. We're gonna pop this off, and that's just that we don't have any good ends on that one. So let me see if this, I have to get a self tapper a little bigger than that. Trying to find something that'll put that ground on there. I don't think we really need it, but can't ever have too many. So let me get another bolt and see if we can get something. Alright, and this, like I said, ain't the right ground, but it's got a better end on it. The other one's cut off, and those spliced on ends don't seem to work too well, at least in my humble opinion. So we got a little ground hooked up. Man, I got extra wires for days on this truck with other stuff that was going on. Alright, let me get on the fluids here. Can't remember if we put all in her or not. And that's a definite yes. She could still use a quart or two, but got some pretty oil in her. I'm also going to check, although I'm sure we got trans fluid in it, because I remember doing that. Yep. We'll get a better check on that once we get it running. When y'all have one that's set up for a while, you know, there's a check valve back in here, a check ball, and that'll let this reservoir tank bleed down. It can also be from the low pressure pump itself, but that's another issue. When these have been sitting for a while, I like to pull these out and make sure that they're full, and if they're not full, top them off, and you might have to top them off a couple of times to prime the oil system. So let me get a wrench and we'll check that out. Well, ain't that fun? And I was just about to tell y'all, watch out for the O-ring, and launched everything off of the... Alright, so we are dealing with a crappy flashlight, and we are low on this oil. Now don't pay attention to this squeeze bottle. This is just what I use to get the oil in here. If I remember right, it takes a little less than a quart, but no use to worry about overfilling it, because it'll just overflow. You know, like 3/4 of a quart is what I think it takes, depending on where, you know, what status of drain back this thing is in. And this was a little less than a full quart, so we're just going to go ahead and fill this rascal all the way up. Then we got to go on the ground and find our damn parts. Always something. But yeah, anytime these have been sitting, y'all ought to double check. Or if they really, you know, like if you're having a problem with it, like even if it sits overnight, you might want to check this out, because you can have this draining back, and you're having to do long cranks to get it primed back up before the engine will pop off. All right, let me get a magnet and fish my tools off the ground, see if we can button this up. Little magnet got that action going. We're gonna see if we got a drop or two left oil in here. Lube this O-ring up. The O-ring had started to kind of walk down on the threads a little bit on the way out, and I was just getting ready to deal with it when the whole damn thing popped out. So we got our oil in there. We're going to go ahead and run this back. You can snug it down, but sometimes I'll leave it just a little light snug, because I may be getting back into it. Just kind of remember that you know, if you didn't snug it down good, later when you're done with the test firing and all that, you need to snug it down some more. All right. I'm not going to pull all my little rags that's in everything just yet, because I still got to stage the batteries and double check that. But I think what I want to do is let this sit. I'll check this again a little later, and I'm going to go throw a U-joint on that drive shaft if I can find any room on the damn workbench. So let's get that done first and get the drive shaft on, and we'll let this oil kind of get itself right, and we'll go from there. Time to clean up. This stuff's been sitting out in the weather for a few weeks, so we're gonna put the shine on and make it easy on us. I'm gonna try not to pan over and show y'all how much stuff is on the workbench. It looks like today's episode of how much crap can you get on the bench, and it's not as bad as it usually is. All right, I'm gonna get everything laid out and set up here, then we'll press them in. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see, but we got a little burr right up in here. I don't think that's gonna affect me, but we're gonna take it off anyway. It's trying not to get on my cup surface, but alright. Move y'all back over here and see if I can get my stuff together to put the U-joint in. I want that to be in the clamp. Alright, so we're going to put this in there. Big dog here, put a little oil on him. All right, walk this up a little bit. Alright, you. You're in some trouble. That one. little snug there. Let me get my toe. Alright. This is probably good, but it did tighten up just a smidge, so I don't know how right this is, but this is, I always did this to set these. There we go. Alright. That one's done. Put some tape on it so I don't lose the cups. Alright guys, so I missed this trying to beat the rain, but all we got so far under here, stabbing the drive shaft in the back of the transmission and bolting up the hanger bearing. I got my threads are cleaned and kind of got a little oil on them here, so that's going to sit tight. And let me bring y'all around here. Dodge all this exhaust. So you can see the dirt daubers were nice enough to keep our holes all closed and sealed up. So we're gonna clean all that out, and we've got to find the bolts and straps so we can put the back half of the drive shaft on. And so let me get to cleaning that up, see if I can set y'all up here. I'm gonna take a little flathead screwdriver action and pop all of these out. Alright. And we've got our specialty tool here. A little 22 gun barrel brush. We're going to see if that'll fit. Let me get it in the drill here. Let me go the other direction. Get a little brake clean. Alright. We're going to hit these bolts with a little bit of blue Loctite. And we went ahead and I ran ahead and ran them on the wire wheel on the grinder to get the old Loctite and stuff off. So I'm going to let this brake clean dry out while I get my wrenches together and get the drive shaft over here, and we'll get this on. Alright, I don't know how good this is going to come out, but we'll see if we can get a shot of it. Keep poking myself with this damn U-bolt back here. Alright, where is the end of my tape? Alright, that looks like it right there. Yep. Oh, your ass. That's alright, I got something for you. It's funny, these things, when you want them to stay on, they won't stay on. And when you want them to come off, they won't come off. Alright. Trying to see if they had a double spline. Alright, that should be my mark. We'll put that on the bottom. Alright, let's see how much of a pain in the ass this is gonna be. Alright, so that's gonna be our bottom. So that's our mark, and that's our mark. Alright, let me see if I can fit this under here with me. Ugh. Nice big Banks exhaust under here, but it sure isn't conducive to giving you much in the way of working room. Alright, let's see. Alright, let me see how far I got to go. Ooh, we gotta go a good couple of 3 inches or so. That's about right. It doesn't want to go any further. Well, you going further, we're just gonna have to figure out how we're going to encourage that. Let's see. Well, that ain't gonna work. Too much shit in the way. Let's see, I got a bigger dead blow hammer. Let me try that. Well, like they say, if it don't fit, sometimes you need a bigger hammer. Let's see what this does. Man, there's no swinging room under here. That's a little better. Come on now. Stubborn son of a bitch. This blue shit that they put on the splines is a pain in the ass. Oh, we're close. Well, I wasn't gonna rat myself out, but had to step the hammer game up a little bit more. And we got it. I think we got enough. Let me turn y'all around, see if we got the back end visible. Let me see. Yeah. Let's see what we got. Alright, that should be, y'all should be able to see what's going on. Alright, so we still got to go a little bit more. Got to roll this. Alright. Hope this doesn't mess y'all up on the camera, but got to give it a few love taps. Oh hell, I've lost my damn tape. Alright, well, we're almost there. Let me get some tape and redo this before we lose our caps or get dirt in here. Alright, let's give this a shot and see if this is gonna work. Come on now. Damn it. Oh shit. I got a cup coming off. Oh god damn it. Fuck. Just what I didn't want to happen. Losing bearings in the damn cup. Shit. Well, trying to fit this damn thing in the upper cup popped off, and before I could get it on, I had a couple of needles fall out. Alright, well, a little colorful language and a magnet. We picked up the needles that fell out of the upper cup, cleaned them, got them put back in. So we'll try this again and see if I can get this rascal to go in there. Oh, she's close. She's getting close. Damn it. Oh. Alright, get all this crap out of the way. If I can do this one hand, or if y'all gonna watch me drop this on my head, we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna have to get some Loctite on this later, but for right now, I just want to get this on here where I can pry or do whatever I gotta do to center this thing. Alright, come on now. I sure am glad I didn't take this tape out of the way. That's always need something more to aggravate you. As if Ford isn't proficient enough to put stuff to aggravate you. Oh, wrong way. Let me just walk one of these in where this won't come off. Come off of there, you. Alright. Now, get this out the damn way.